So hey, this to lead off this thing, we have the concerns, questions, and suggestions form. Do you guys see this come out? There's a few submissions here, and so I thought it would be helpful to start the conversation there about things that have been brought up about what are some things we need to do. But in the meantime, feel free to bring up any other thing related to this. So there are some very specific things that are listed here of like ways that can improve. One thing was a piece of paper at the front to talk about common ambassador stuff and things that people ask for, computer passwords. Do people know this stuff? Or are the other people like, no, I don't know it all?
Yes, Dremel to zoom in. Dremel zoom in.
Is that possible?
Yeah. There you go. Keep going.
Oh.
So it has a few responses that we can see here, but that's not all of them. So
keep going.
Control class.
Sorry, give me a second, because I know the thing that you're talking about, Dr. Lamb, we covered last time. I'm trying to find the one that the new responses.
So this you already discussed some of these at the last meeting?
Yeah.
Holiday card making with the silhouette, future workshop idea.
I believe this was last one, so we're starting at number 5.
Yeah, this one right here. That's from the last one. Where did we leave off?
Number 5 is the one I just mentioned.
Oh,
which is work ideas, equipment ideas, a small weaving loom. Did you guys discuss these already last time? And then
yeah, that one
associated with that is the organ. It looks like we're on number 6 then.
Yeah, my bad.
So suggestion for the workspaces was the back of the Maker Studio has a few tables and on the sides that are separated from the rest of the studio. Perhaps we can find a way to integrate them into the rest of the space.
We're talking about those ones.
This one right here is
Those two probably are the ones not very integrated.
Yeah.
This one, honestly, I want to replace the top of that metal container, the metal cabinet that's where the vinyl cutter is, you know? It doesn't have a top, so we put one of the side panels on its top as the top. But we don't actually have this table on our design drawings anywhere, so it's totally in violation. So I was just gonna take it off and cut it off and then make it the tabletop over there. But do you guys have grand plans? Like you feel like, no, this is my sweetheart. This is my baby table.
Which one?
We need to add it to the design so that the fire marshal doesn't get mad at us.
I get it.
Maybe big science tape.
It does have the ability to tilt. I also have a drafting table in my office in engineering that can tilt. It's a little bit smaller than this. So if we wanted something that tilts and smaller, I can just bring that down. And then we get rid of this bigger thing.
Find out what happened to the little ledge that would be on it.
No.
Did it fall off this? Okay, so I'm putting extra trap in my last year. It fell off. I think I put it somewhere and it's not doing well. This happened like either before or during something.
Yeah.
It was like a metal.
So, you know, that table there, I don't know, is it in a bad spot? Should we think about other places for it to integrate it into the space? Maybe move it out in the middle of the floor or something like that? Or does it matter? So layout. I mean, there's probably other layout questions here. Are there other layout comments for the Maker Studio or even the iLab for that matter that have come to mind?
I don't know if I like this wall. I'm sure it serves a purpose. I just don't really care.
It's a barrier. Well, it's for sound.
Yeah, it was just there to kind of block out the sound from the laser being turned on. So to have yet another sort of barrier between there and here. So if somebody's presentation is going on here and the laser is running there, but maybe with our little sound attenuation foam thing there, it's okay enough to where maybe we don't need the wall.
I have no clue.
So It was one of those things, it's like, hey, they still left the mount there.
Yeah, it feels like there's a very minor just division right here. Because I guess the pillar is right there as well, rather all, so it's. That's nothing.
Yeah. That was intentional, like this space was supposed to be the sitting space like we're doing now.
Sitting.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But you're saying that does it prevent people from wanting to come back here and do stuff, you're thinking, Raymond, or is it?
Not exactly, it just acts as a divider, if that's the intent, it works.
Yeah, we thought we want to keep that, and then over winter break, when we created this space over here, we thought that would be nice. Say like ambassadors, you can use this space, and if anybody's back here, like just random people studying, then you can ask them to scooch. Because it's really meant for you guys to use more of. We also thought that would be handy to have a place to sit back here, just because there are groups of people who come in and study in here all the time, and then that prevents from you all from studying and having a place to sit down and hang out. So if you ever wanted to use that, you could do that back here as well. But that's what was the thought in winter. It could be outdated by now. There's a comment here about drawers not being locked up after closing. And that is a thing, I guess we always got to remember to do. And that's just a thing to remind you on. I know we're not gonna be perfect on that every time. Hopefully nobody ends up walking away with stuff that they're left open, but we still have not been able to locate the box of 3D printing doohickeys. So all the little wrenches and the Allen keys and the nozzles, and we had some brass as well as steel nozzles in there. It's in a single bucket, and there's like all the extra things from when we assembled all the enders would just go into this bucket as well in this little container, and it's gone. So we don't know if it just been misplaced somewhere, or if somebody actually intentionally took it. I doubt it. I think more likely it's been put someplace wrong, or it did grow legs and went away. But I think that's a function of us not being more intentional about where stuff is when it's put out. And then need to be putting it back, making sure it goes back to its spot where it needs to be. We can prevent more of that if it's back in its spot, you know. Like yesterday I came in and the Dremel was out sitting, and it was just right there. It was like 3 feet away from its container box. Almost made it. You just put it away. I see one of those kits, the microcontroller kits out on the table back here, you know. I mean, it's 4 feet away. Almost got it in its spot. I don't know if somebody's actively using that, and that's a different thing, you know, but I think it's just one of those things we got to remind ourselves to do and make sure that even if we didn't do it, if we see that it's out, do a quick check. Hey, is anybody using this? No? Okay, and you just put it away. That way nothing grows legs, it's always going back into its spot.
The policy for locking up drawers, is that to be a daily one or a weekly one?
Every time the studio closes, closing hours, you lock up the space, lock up the drawers, so.
Yeah, I think it's a 5 p.m. daily thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know, maybe does everybody know the key code over there? So it's like ridiculous at how many people have access to the keys so they can get in anyway. I mean, I'm hoping that just you all do it, and maybe at the end of the semester we need to change the code to something new for whoever's in the next group of ambassadors next time, so it's not
Every
like
semester, basically.
every semester we put in a new code. Yeah,
To be safe.
yeah, because we're always swapping out ambassadors, so.
Let's replace all the locks with fingerprint locks.
Then we gotta code that
Or
crap.
Benji.
I feel like the problem with doing it daily is I'm not here when it closes, but most of the time when it hits closing hours, people are here anyway.
Yeah,
It's not like it's all a bunch of people who just leave at 5 and then see they just shut down. It seems to be mostly ambassadors around that time who stay around until
I mean,
6,
everyone
7, 8.
for the people that's here like after 5, it would be their responsible. Like for example, like if I'm here at 6, if I'm here to print something, and I'm opening up the 3D printing drawer. It'd be my responsibility to open the drawer and then lock it back up once I'm done with it.
So are you suggesting, Bavish, that we say we lock it up at 5 no
Yeah.
matter what?
But if you're an ambassador, if you want to use it, then you would have to grab the key, from the lock. Open the drawer and close it once you're done with using it.
Does that sound reasonable to everybody?
Yeah.
All right.
It's usually in the day. It's like in the morning. We open the drawers. Everyone's using it, and at 5 we'll close it.
Okay. So we lock up at 5 no matter what. And if you're here as a master afterwards, then you still have this. Just make sure you lock up again.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Laura says it would help whoever uses a tool to put away when they're done. Yep. And then sometimes I want to put things away, but I'm not sure if they're being used. Yeah, I think, Laura, what do you guys think about that? Like, we got stuff out. It probably should go back, but you're not sure who's using what. What should we do?
At the end of the day, put it away.
Well, I mean, it's kind of tricky because I've done it a few times where I've been like, is anybody using this? Like, I'll announce that, and then nothing, and I'll put it away, and then somebody will come up to me at the front desk. They'll be like, "Oh, did you see the thing I was using?" And I'm like,
I did.
I'm like, I did.
Where was you?
Yeah,
I feel like there's a problem. I feel like here it is.
it is. It's just tricky. Maybe I'm just like, my luck is just poor timing for those people. I don't know.
I don't think that's a big deal though to do it that way, Emma. Like if you see something out and you go, "Hey, anybody? No," and you put it away,
Yeah.
and then they come back, and I don't see why I wouldn't be offended if somebody did. It's like, "Oh well, okay, good." Unless of course they're like actively and there's smoke issuing from it, so they're working so hard, then maybe I suppose. But I think the general assumption is that somebody's in the middle of working with something and then it just stays there. And I think maybe we should go to the model of, let's assume that they're done with it and ask, and then put it away. They can always get it out again. We can always help them again. Yeah. Maybe that's a decent enough approach as well. Yeah, it would be nice. I think, Laura, you're right in that if there are people who are using stuff and they walk away, we should probably help them. If you put their stuff away, you say, "Hey, you know what, next time we have some post-it notes. If you're going to go away for lunch or meetings or class, and you're coming back, just put a note on it that says, 'This is mine. This is Kenneth's,' and leave it there." I noticed like Richard has a laptop, he put a label on it that says, "This is property of Richard's, do not use." I was grateful that he labeled his laptop that way, because then I'm like, whose laptop is sitting out here? Oh, it's Richard's. I understand. Is it that one right there still sitting, or is that yours? Okay. So yeah, maybe we can just invite people to leave some notes behind. A note about the spaces and the floors getting dirty. 2 challenges with that. I don't know how many of you guys know, but the floors get cleaned on a schedule based upon the availability of the maintenance people that are in here. We can have them clean it more often, but it will cost us more money for them to go out of their schedule to be here. We can do that. In fact, maybe I might just say, look, you probably do need to do twice as often for our space. And maybe that's not a significant amount of money. I don't know. But it's still going to get messy. So the comment about somebody saying, "I see a few ambassadors trying to clean up, only for the spaces to become messy again the next day." And then people often come looking for a space to work, but they're only to find little no space. Yeah, I think staying on top of the cleaning is a constant challenge for all of us. Every time I walk through here in the mornings, I pick up stuff and throw it in the garbage as we go. I don't spend a ton of time. I don't polish it pretty. You can come in and wander about if you like.
Make sure to sign in.
Says Giga Chad slug. Oh, they didn't hear me, I guess.
Or they heard you.
Or they're like, "I ain't gonna listen to that crap."
No.
Yeah.
Oh, they came inside. Wow, look, tourism.
He's on the phone.
Right.
I like to hear it friend.
Oh.
So,
We're gonna like pick what are those?
what do you think the best approach is to solving cleanliness around here?
A Roomba.
I'm
just saying.
Really?
Did you know like students when we put like a study room in the library or for your club and you book a space? How they always say, make sure you clean up after yourselves. Once you're done, you know, leave the space the way it was. So probably just something like that has to be implemented. I know Jesus did say like the only reason we don't have a vacuum is because of the union. If we vacuum, then the meat.
That's what I've been told.
Like, oh, you guys are doing your job. We have to leave home early and get paid less.
That's what I've been told. It's like we're not allowed to paint the walls. Because that would be taking somebody's job.
I would think the problem will also be.
Wait, so us pretty fun, is that not the Art Fab Labs job either?
What was that?
No, I was saying since we're 3D printing and it's like free service, is that not taking the Fab Lab people's jobs?
And we teach.
Yeah,
That are paid?
We're not providing the service, we're providing the tools, they provide the service, so we're not competing. If anybody wants us to print a 3D object, you can say, this goes that way a few buildings and go pay somebody to print something off for you.
Actually, it's by the 10 freeway.
Down there. I know they have 3D printing up there in building 5 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And they have some here in building 13, but I can't remember where you go to.
It's the Fab Lab, but that's only for architecture students.
Yeah.
So it's like not for public.
They don't like you trying to touch those pieces in that building.
Yeah.
I learned that. From
3D printers.
Yeah, well, I was like walking through because I'm like, I wonder what's in here, and I was like looking at them, and then some guy was like, "Hey, you can't look at those." And I'm like,
You're making them nervous by staring at this.
You got a shifty look about you.
I'm just like talking. I don't know what you're talking about.
I think getting back to the clean thing, I think that's a constant challenge, no matter what. And you know, the bits of thread and fabric that spills out, the bits of 3D print stuff. I think we probably could be a little bit more aware of what we do when we take prints off and all the little strings and they just end up on the floor everywhere. Yeah. A scrap bin for the fabric.
It just ends up under the bin somewhere.
What would we like this? What would you like this scrap bin to look like and do?
Honestly, just like small plastic tub, so like trash. Because right now there's like a Ziploc bag and nobody ever sees it.
We don't have a whole lot of floor space.
Side of the cardboard box.
A side of a cardboard box that goes where?
Well, I'm saying, don't we currently use a cardboard box?
There is that one that's there, and it's on the floor behind one of the tables.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I see it.
We move under the sewing table where people are going to throw the fabric anyway, apparently.
Maybe. I mean, didn't we used to have all the scrap sewing fabric in the boat?
Yeah.
Does it not fit there anymore? Everybody's like, that's not my station. I don't touch sewing. I'm new here.
What boat?
The middle whole big thing, the big cutting thing in there, we call that the boat. And that, yeah, Dylan just signaling where we used to have it.
And then like the bits of bread and stuff that falls to the floor.
Oh, bits of bread falling to the floor. Let's throw that away. What was that, Dylan?
You know what happened to that giant Packers bag that Kevin brought in that one time for scrap fabric?
It's in there.
It's back here or in the
No.
boat? In the back of one of the boat shelves. I think something needs to be done with the sewing. With the sewing area, because yeah, I think when it comes to little bits of thread that fall on the ground, we need to pull those up. And we need a better solution than the push vacuum because it just gets knotted up in there. Maybe a really big industrial sized lint brush. I don't know. What do you guys know, Aiden?
So this kind of general statement of what Julie was saying. Sometimes I'll see stuff like filaments, lying on the table, and I'm like, is this trash? Is it not? Someone might want it. Are we saving it for a project? So it's kind of like like what, like is it someone's? It's like I have all these questions. Like same thing with the soldering station. There's all these wires and stuff, and I'm like, oh, is someone gonna use these wires? Is there a place to put them? Is someone done? Like all these questions.
So let's solve this piece by piece then, all right? So where do we want stuff to be? Like where do we want filament to be? Like rolls, like that. Or former prints, either way. Rolls or prints, where do we want the stuff to be?
I feel like we should keep all the rolls in that like little shelving unit that's right there. I think that has been a good place because then it's like, that's where all the rolls are.
Everybody.
So before printing, everything should be in there or in the humidifier unit thing.
Yeah. I also think like making a distinction between, because I know sometimes we'll leave like prints that have clearly failed on the table and we'll leave them there, but it's almost like, I don't know why we leave them. If the print's failed, it's failed, but I doubt the person, whoever printed it, is going to be like, oh yes, allow me to use my spaghetti doodles.
Okay. Well, I wonder if that's, is that what we're doing? Is that we put the failed prints in the middle on the middle table?
Not all the time, but I've seen them like wind up there. And sometimes it's just tricky because it's like when the person eventually comes in, they're just going to probably trash it anyway. So it's like, I know that just generally it's like a small thing, but it just sometimes builds up space quickly. Like I've seen just stuff like lying there. I'm like, I even find some prints that like I'll come back and they're like my print like clearly went awry at the last minute kind of thing. I'm like, oh, okay. Like if somebody just like tosses it or even takes a picture of it and says like this print failed, tossing it, and you put that on the Discord or something, then like I can look through the Discord and you can be like, oh, it didn't work out, it's gone. I can come back and try and start a new one, but then it doesn't take up space. It's going where it's eventually going to wind up anyway, kind of thing.
I like that idea, but what do you guys think about because that's a task now. The print fails, what do we do with it? Because if a print succeeds, we pull it off
And put it on the
shelf.
Yeah,
And there's days of the week, and that works okay, right?
that works really well.
If we put the failed prints on the same shelf, I think it'll get cluttered pretty quickly.
Well, what counts as a failed print? Like if it just lifts off the first layer, then obviously that should get thrown away. But how much does it have to be before we
So let's say it goes like 50% and that's where something messes up.
Well, I'm almost saying like
Failed print's a failed print, right? It's like it's not adhering, it's like peeling off, it's totally sucking.
yeah, I know some people are able to use ones that like lift off slightly, and that's fine for what they're doing. I think that's fine. It's like the ones I've seen, like I know there was one earlier today where it was like it was just like you could tell it just didn't like go down well, and everything was just like spaghetti. And it's like I don't know why some of those just get kept around, and it's just like I know like whenever I see those, I usually just try and toss them, but I try to like leave a note or something somewhere and just be like, hey, top left bed spaghetti. That's why you're not going to find any remnants of it.
I think I like this idea. I think what might facilitate this even better is we make people write down their Discord name when they go to print.
What I've been doing
And then we can
is-
ask them to be like, hey, suck, come back. Do you think that would be reasonable to ask though? I mean, we put like little name tag thingies out there. They have all those little white dry erase marker things. But I don't know, does that sound reasonable though to do?
I tell people
Put a whiteboard and just start for like the 9 printers have a whiteboard for it. And just fill it out as it goes. So
It's a little name
instead of
tag
small little
thing
name
up top
tags,
of the
they get on the map.
board.
The name tags are easier to miss. So I think a large whiteboard where all 9 prints are currently
Grab it from the back of
Yeah.
TJ, right?
Well, we have whiteboard material there sitting on an MDF. Huh? Oh, you mean that?
So you
could just draw like
it's
a-
smaller if you want. You just draw the 9 printers. You just have a list of what happens. Like day by day, you can erase it if you want. So things
Are you
are
saying
cool.
what happens?
Or like to say this person you put
Who's
in the
using
name,
it?
print
Yeah.
failed, and that's because you're like this quick tag there as well. Yeah, this quick tag can go there.
So what?
Can I combine that a little bit? Let's have a section on Discord only for posting either a picture of a print when it finishes, or if it like gets a little bit and then fails.
So or just have a channel that just tracks all the printers.
Yeah, I'm just like if you see one that's then you just pry it off, take a picture, and just
Okay.
Take a picture, put it on there.
and just be like, hey, top left finish.
Well, if they have the name, then you can put it on the Discord as well. Or rather than keeping track of that on the whiteboard where you have to put like this print failed, if you have like over the course of a day, what are you gonna have like 9 prints go through? I mean, they're each an hour or 2. and have to list out everything. So you just do it all in Discord, then pull it up.
I think we only need to notify if it fails.
Because some
If it succeeds, we'll pull it off, put it on the shelf and get it out of the way.
Yeah.
If it fails and we want to be nice and say, hey, look, you're gonna have to come back and start this all over again. Maybe that's where we need to notify them. So I think the general success ones, we just need to keep track of the ones that like, hey, this didn't work. And we're gonna toss this into our recycle bin.
So they would just like write their Discord on like post-it note and put it on there. Or
Well, I like the whiteboard idea.
yeah.
We need to hang it someplace and put it someplace where it's, or we just use one of those, you're saying wheel it
I
over
just
there?
think one of those for the big.
It's no disturb.
Yeah. No one's using this one, I think. Not really.
No, well, there's more over here than.
If I made one of those sort of things. I don't think I need too much room out there though. So you put like right against the table.
I know, that's what I'm thinking. That's the thing is, it might need to be something that we just like hang from one of the panels on the inside.
Should be big enough too if you get the right size.
Or just sits on top of that shelf in front of the orange and blue walls there to the left of the computer.
That's what I was looking at.
And then-
That's like a good little.
Because we have, like I said, a piece of MDF with whiteboard material on one side sitting inside the boat right now. And we could do that right now. And just do like the 9 grid and,
Yeah.
okay. Does that sound reasonable?
Yeah.
Okay.
Before we go further, maybe give the chat a voice because it's been flowing. So I see Charles, like Chase, he said like maybe there's trash in the iLab we should add for turn filament. I didn't look around, but maybe there's a trash can. I don't know if you don't. If you don't.
We can't take trash cans from other places. I've also since learned that facilities puts those into specific places because those are the number of trash cans they want to check.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that's like their workload, as it were.
So if we put an extra trash can, it'll empty it technically.
I think we need to hide it. Like this tall trash can, I don't know where that came from.
We could 3D print a trash can.
Perhaps potentially, I think. I mean,
We have the race.
yeah.
Trash can, or you get like a cardboard box, you call it a dumping.
I wonder if that's what we need to do. We just gotta hide it in plain sight.
It's called something but a trash can, but you toss it.
I think this is where we just grab something else.
It's gone now.
Isn't there a spot of space between the right side of the computer and the left side of the 3D printer shelves?
In the iLab?
There's a gap right there.
No, just right
Yeah.
here. Right here in the
Yeah,
middle.
there is.
Maybe we could
That'd
just,
be a great spot.
just
Wait, why
flick
don't we
things
put
into
the-
there.
That's the desktop computer on the floor. And
We got disconnected.
put it on the floor and save some room. You can easily reach in the back there.
Victor.
The 3D printing.
I think you like might have jostled the HDMI over that here.
Still connected.
But it's
I like the idea of having a place to toss dead prints. I mean, we had that little panel on the wall that we've been putting the wall of fail.
Yeah.
Don't fail too quickly.
It's filled, and I think maybe we should, it's not quite as fun as I hoped it would be. So we can pull that out and put it in a bin, and then maybe one day when we get a filament maker, we'll pull all that out and save us a little bit of money.
Either buy it or build it. A group project.
Maybe next semester or
Do
something.
you want my extra filament?
What do you
Well, he's gotta make it first.
Yeah.
Make filament hot.
I don't
I
know.
think
My
the,
prints require a lot of support, so my trash cans
Yeah, I was
are
gonna say,
full of
finding
support.
the support
save it
material
then.
and extra filament is not a problem. I think it's setting.
Since
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
on the topic of filament, I remember a couple days ago, Victor was telling me, like in that little cabinet incubator type of thing, there's some filament that belong to people that are long gone. Does that become property of the maker studio? now?
If they graduated, yeah.
Where did the laughing man's from?
Email is-
Dolly, no, because he sent it to me, and I never saw it again. I was like, "Can I have this?" And he said yes, and then I go back to check a couple days later, and I never saw it again.
You gotta put your own name on that.
Yeah,
That's true.
that was something we just talked about in our meeting today at noon, which is if there's any filament of somebody's name on it and they have graduated, then that belongs to the property of SIIL.
Now our property.
Donate space.
They are more than welcome to come back and use it if they actually didn't graduate or we mistook that, and at the end of the semester, if you have any filament here and you don't take it with you and you're not planning to be around this summer, it'll become our property. We'll happily take care of it for you during the summertime.
It comes back and, oh, wait, it's the only cardboard's left.
Yeah, and that might happen. But hey, you know what? We're so nice with filament. We'll happily let you use some more if that's what happened to you, but don't leave it behind without just tacitly saying, hey, this is shared for everybody. Because it does clutter up, and that whole cabinet there, I think, is full of other people's stuff, and I don't know if
Isn't there like that one professor's full of filaments still on that? Or did the professor take it?
Oh, the wood grain.
Yeah, the wood grain one.
the wood one's in the bottom drawer of the laser, I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, we probably should throw that out. Or we should probably test it out and then say
Throw it away.
Well, if it works, it works.
Like a Benji.
make a Benji, yeah.
I can make arrows.
Trash, okay, yeah. So maybe that's what we can do. Maybe that tall trash can, which is nice. I like having that tall trash can. Maybe that could be going in that back corner.
So that trash can disappeared and then they just empty it anyway.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice.
So,
I wonder if they brought it.
Oh,
in
they might have
themselves.
brought it.
They usually like throw out large things. They're like, maybe they brought it in because they're like, oh, there's so many small trash cans they kind of get overfilled.
Yeah.
Might as well overfill a large trash can.
Well, there could be something we gotta create for that corner to hold a bag of some sort, or maybe we just put a cardboard box back in there of some sort. But I think that would be good to put the filament in there and drop it in there. All right, in terms of notes and stuff, gathered a lot of lost and found materials. Okay, that's been cleared space in the front, but because we're formal entity, I wasn't sure how to go about unloading it. We gathered a lot of lost and found materials over the past semester, and I've been looking to clear it to free up space at the front table. I wasn't sure about how to go about unloading it. Yeah.
I think I know who said this.
Theoretically, if someone loses something, you're supposed to hand it over to the lost and found. But we just keep it because we know lost and found solves it. We can have our own thrift shop.
I was about to say, because people losing their umbrellas out here, I'm like, how far do you want to go with this?
That's what we're talking about, is like the stuff that people leave behind, we just put it in a lost and found area.
I already tried to sell my center.
Yeah, we need one of the long pad, we need just a small plastic box.
yeah.
And we just put
Also
stuff in.
containing someone's Bronco ID.
Yeah, lost and found.
Yeah, they-
Bronco ID,
yeah.
$5.
That person.
Yeah.
Bronco ID starting at $5, guys.
I was.
Well, I can go look them up and email them.
Figure out their CPP, you know, yeah.
I
You have
was
a
the one
Bronco
who
ID.
found that because I helped. She was asking about 3D printing stuff, and she had signed me with that. She sat on the computer, and I was like talking to her about like 3D printing stuff, and she left. And I was busy. I looked over at the 3D printers, and I looked back, and I was like, oh shoot, she left her Bronco ID. So I put it over on like in the desk, like in the corner at the front desk, because I was like, I don't know where to put it. Because something like important like that is different than like if they leave an umbrella. I feel
Yeah.
like a phone or an ID or a wallet or something like that.
Yeah.
That should be in a separate place than like sweatshirts, umbrellas, or
I didn't know we had it at lost and found deal. Where's that box?
It's literally one of the, you know how we have like a bunch of those boxes? It's just one of those up in the,
Cabinet on the left.
by the, right behind my desk.
You guys all know this?
Yeah.
Now we do.
I guess now we all do. We learned a little bit. I think there's like there's a black box that has like random things in there, like Dillian's sword, a couple other things. We could probably take that out and use that as the lost and found as well. If there's bigger things like umbrellas or umbrellas. I have an umbrella in I have 2 umbrellas that are left behind by who knows who. So I should just bring those down and then sell them.
Auction them off.
Yeah. I think having the lost and found is probably a good idea. If we know where it's at there. So now we can just use that. And then, yeah, people leave that behind. And then, I don't know, yeah, at the end of the semester, nobody comes back. And I guess it's fair game. And they're long enough.
Apparently we have a Washington Film on campus today.
Oh, really?
Apparently today.
It's not today. Docs,
There was a post. Oh, yeah, yeah.
yeah, I was yesterday.
Sorry, I just got it.
They were actually offering Apple Watch, like a newer Apple Watch with AirPods for $80.
Wow.
Someone wanted for like 100.
This guy got a $500 load for $26.
I don't think it'll be bad, but.
Wow.
Come on, Benji, where were you?
But if it comes from like. The maker.
Missed out, yeah, how is it that we missed out on all this news, huh?
Usually Victor knows first because they have free
It's funny,
food.
It's random, how did you get my?
Wait, you can buy shit for cheap and they have free food?
Yeah.
Why did someone tell me?
If you weren't, I didn't see you yesterday.
Well, those are the comments online. Is there something else, anything else that's come to mind in this, during this conversation that you feel like we could probably address?
We use the power, tables, oh, no power.
Oh, the power strips, that's right, that was brought up. We can do that. We just need to get those little things that cover the cord, so it's.
Oh, so there's something that goes over the cord.
Yeah, so we just need to buy those little cord covers.
I talked to facilities regarding just fixing the power plug on the floor. There's two of them. The two silver ones on gold and color.
That's gonna cost me money, Cyrus.
Understand. Just get a wire.
Facilities won't come out. I think I think we might as well just plug something in and string it over. We'll get those little floor cover things.
Clear plastic bags.
Yeah, that works too, just those mats.
We don't have any more. And we need to put some more around. It's one of those things we're talking about with you, Dylan, or somebody else. I don't know. This morning, talking about, yeah, setting up a space that we could do something a little messier here and not worry about destroying the carpet in the process. And maybe we would need to have like a bigger plastic thing set up to.
It's cool.
The kids pool in the middle is like a little pedestal and it's a kiddie pool all around. I think that might be something worth discussing for the summertime and creating a space available for them. Oh, using the drafting table?
Big table.
For kids? Well, look at this stuff here. I don't know if
It's more about dropping down. Hot gluing right next to the sewing machines, huh?
that table right there is where I usually see people do stuff
Oh,
like that.
for plugging in, that's what I'm saying. You need power supply to the boat.
Power, there is no power.
Correct.
Do we want it to the desk? We want it to the desk. I mean, do we want it to the boat as well?
I would take the book, like, see people try to do how pretty dumb.
We can, like,
Just got wire.
Drill, screw, tape, or something like extension cords to it.
I don't know if
It
the
is
problem is
over.
hanging on the ceiling. Right, I keep it cleaner, just for walking.
Yeah, but sitting go crunch all that, you just get
I
mad.
said, I don't know.
We've done some modification to ceilings and in the old iLab, we 3D printed some hangers for the VR thing. And nobody seemed to care too much about that.
Yeah, do the same thing with power. You put the hooks, hook it up there, run the power over.
I wonder if they would mind. And we ran it up the column and then over, and then it would just dangle down.
Yeah.
Kind of like the power strips that are
Figure
in the
nobody
lab.
pulled on
Like the what?
Like the power strips that, they go in the lab, it's in building center.
There's no drilling.
Well, just be quite a bit of weight. So you get one of the starting rods.
Oh, I know what you're thinking of. I know what you're thinking of already. I know what you're thinking of.
The tool. And then you get another bar, and then the thread around. Under the top, so you just clamp it to it. Yeah. And then you can draw on that top.
You're not instead of
Whatever.
going into the room. So we're just drilling into a low-barrier filler so that we can.
No, you're drilling up for whatever that bar.
You basically put a bar across. Yeah.
Is it supported on this side over the boat somehow? Oh, across the entire room? From column to column? What were you thinking?
Per column, you could use it to mount whatever you.
Wait,
What about it? Well, it's
Oh, so you just clap it on there, right?
Yeah, I have to draw.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you do.
You're saying a cloud like
That might make sense. And then have the cable go up and over.
Just drop
I think that would be better. I think you can make it look neater up against the column to where it's hidden in a little conduit thing we stick on there.
Filaments have to. They have like the real, sports.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Oh,
the
yeah.
DIO, like the DIO, right, Benji? Like you have that, it's hanging from the ceiling, and it's got a wire of cable, and we can pull it out and stick it to thing. Yeah.
Wow, fancy.
I still don't know what I'm saying.
Just remember the food from last night.
Yeah. Rob me of half my.
You just get like so.
You just tie it to that.
Mouse up.
And then this could be a giant piece of wood, if not, you could screw onto this.
A ceiling dolly?
It's attached to one column.
You have a realistic looking picture. Come on. Cool.
Come on, Pavish.
A ceiling dolly?
You make, so,
Yeah.
Big plant.
but that would be, Benji, that would be just hanging one power supply from like one of those middle columns. We'd still have to like string it over to the boat if they want to use it, right?
Yeah, you do it.
I think that's what the things that were jetting out from the clamp were to support
Or
a
just
structure
mounted.
that goes over or under the roof, but over.
Oh, it would attach to the whole column and then cantilever out. I'm imagining more of not just somebody pulling on something that's cantilevered out quite a distance. And I bet you the securing to the column is gonna be great. But this little bit's gonna be going like. But I like the thought of,
Just let it sit there, don't be simple.
Huh?
Just let it hang, don't have to pull it. You want it to be simple.
I like the ones in black.
yeah. Well, I think we need to think about that, because I think that's a great idea. I like that idea better than having something on the floor.
Yeah, I don't like the because I can't roll my chairs around without getting stuck on something.
Yeah.
Well, that or it's like if people come for tours, like if big groups come and the people are just dangling on wires.
Oh, that's a good point. What?
You almost made it sound like you were tours, having things on the floors is bad for tours, but now it sounds like they're dangling on the wires. Is that what you meant? Like they come in and they're like yanking on them?
No, like it's on the floor, like
Yeah.
these are the back power, if we like kind of like these, like this is in a corner boat, for example, if that wasn't there and we had a whole like an orange power strip across.
So like a tripping hazard.
Yeah, tripping hazard.
Yeah.
That's why they talked about having or needing floor covers for the wires earlier.
Am I tripping over that too?
Yeah, and that's, I think in terms of like just people wheeling chairs around here, which we do a lot of.
Benji board.
I like the idea of having something from above instead of on the floor. Well, give it some more thought, everybody. Let's put something in like that. That would be, probably won't happen this semester. I don't know, maybe it could if you guys come up with that thoughts. Anybody wants to work specifically on that? Maybe you can provide the actual Benji sketch.
All you need is wood and.
Yeah, I can give material, I'll have to put it together real quick.
It's the best of the project.
Well, I mean, if you make it on wood, it would look like an eyesore.
Yeah, so I'm thinking big Jenny lights.
As a person who's interested in themed entertainment, but what if we made a giant bridge that was themed? It looks cool.
We could, but I think it's a lot of work.
We shall not pass.
I was thinking Warhammer Imperium of Man, but sure, that Lord of the Rings too.
I don't know what Warhammer is.
Well, I like this idea, by the way, but given how nutty they were about the height of these walls and having anything obstruct stuff, I wonder if they would have a complaint about that, but they do have signage hanging down.
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering if, so long as it doesn't hang down, because the fire strobes here that you see on the walls, those are what cannot be obstructed.
That's good.
Yeah, that one right there is above our heads.
The white.
So that's what's, you can't have that be obstructed at all. So as long as it hangs down, if it hangs down, it can't go that far down.
So it has to be a bit above the fire.
Or under.
And it's not just if it's a bit above, it's like there's a certain amount of
Yeah.
clearance above,
Yeah.
but I don't remember the number.
If it's under that poses a problem.
That's right.
That's true.
That's right.
Then to the wall.
We gotta get the tallest person
So,
that would come.
I don't think that limits our thoughts, but the idea of a bridge is pretty slick. And even if we strung it between column to column.
Yeah.
Then it'd definitely be strong enough. That's just a long piece of metal or wood that goes between those.
That is true.
You can hang something to show off on that. It's.
But we could put some signage on it. We could put on their maker studio. We could do all sorts of things with it. I like it.
Not sure it'll be that.
Oh, I don't need to give no more.
I think, well, I think, yeah, I think that's worth exploring. I need to see if they'll let us do that.
Just picturing us bringing this long types of sheets.
Crazy, like, where do these people bring?
In the library.
Like-
It's not gonna fit in the elevator.
It'll need to be multiple pieces.
Just going into the bird grabbing a barbell and walking the library with it.
Fun project.
Sure, where are you taking that? Dremel network?
Yes.
I'm just makering.
What's scrap metal? Yeah.
Laura likes the bridge idea, and you can have it ready and everything.
What did I miss?
A bridge sounds cool.
Or, no, we go to,
Or no,
we go to the
we
scrap.
can make like, yeah, with the bridge, you could
Yeah, drawing on
do
the
something
floor.
that'd be fun if you just did like. sill
Sorry,
or-
we just erased that thing on the board.
It's a like giant
Yeah.
sign.
That is well themed.
The problem is just figuring out again, that distance that you have to be.
Yeah.
And also I know you can't block fluorescent lights and it looks like one of them lines up like perfectly with the pillars that I'm looking at right
Oh,
above the
yeah.
boat.
Right.
I know that because one of my friends' dad is a fire marshal, so I know a few things that you're not. Oh.
Yeah, there's a thought.
Just kind of like half put out the weight or any for it. Because pull it all down. I mean, you can still do the cantilever thing, you just can't have it be a retractable kind of thing. You just make it purely, it's there.
There's always an engineered solution there. We could set up the canopy, it would be strong enough, it doesn't bounce around and, get nasty, but.
So you tap into the roof. It's all kind
But I think I need to explore what sort of options they'll let us do.
Yeah.
They were gonna put a sign at the front. So the library was thinking of adding a drop-down sign. I should probably follow up with them on that, where they're on that project, so this wouldn't seem like it's duplicating that, but then maybe if they haven't gotten very far, we'd say, hey, you know what, we got this idea, why don't we put it inside? But easily visible from outside.
Yeah.
And it's up high enough. You can see the height of the signs there. They
Yeah.
come down pretty close to the fire strobe level.
Yeah, so what would be like, they were saying like a sign like that one that says productivity. center,
Yes.
But just like above our entrance almost.
Yeah. They're gonna add some signage in. And then they also thought about putting signage on the wall. And then we just be there on the wall. I said, well, if you don't mind, maybe we could do that, but. How much counts as block? Yeah.
I
block
don't
and light.
understand that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it could be a wire.
Yeah, it would probably have to be somewhat of a truss
Yeah.
wire bridge to stretch that whole distance.
Like a rebar bridge. Just adds to the atmosphere.
Poly bridge.
It would add to the atmosphere, says the civil engineer, of course.
I agree with that.
Well, we're there at time, you guys. Any final thoughts?
But it might lead down to a rabbit hole.
Okay, I'll give a quick answer and then
I'm curious if we're doing any funding or publicity
Oh.
for the Maker Studio.
I'm glad you bring this up. So Giving Day is April 19th and 20th.
I have something to add on to that as well.
So this is
Oh,
a yearly donation drive. I've signed up for it. I would love your all's help, and your all's help means sharing. I'll sign you up if whoever's interested. I'll send some posts about this, but if you're interested in helping, I sign you up as a Giving Day ambassador. They make a custom link for you to just post out on your social media, and whoever donates through the link that you get, then you get credit for your donations. And yeah, I wanted to raise some money for stuff here. We might need a new laser. We might need a new laser too for the IO's laser. I want to get another large format printer. I was thinking maybe even updating the vinyl cutter. Like, there's a few things that I think, and then of course any thoughts that you all might have about what we could get and buy. I think we want to make that the objective of the fundraising. Kamish, what do you got?
Yeah, so what I was gonna add on to that, I'm not sure if anyone knows, but I work for the annual fund on campus. So what we do is we call people and ask for money. So yeah, for Giving Day, I did sign up as a SIIL ambassador through annual fund. So that day, whoever I call, I would basically be raising money for SIIL. But I was talking to my manager and I asked them, like, right now we're calling alumni and requesting money for like specific colleges. So I've asked that, can we do something where like if it's like a week or 2 weeks, there's a calling pool made for SIIL ambassadors, like that are alumni that have graduated, talk them into raising money for SIIL. So my manager was like, yeah, that's something possible. Just have like whoever your director or like supervisor at Maker Studio is, reach out to them.
Who's your manager?
Michael Vickers.
Okay,
I could probably
I have his email.
Yeah,
I should know if it's him or Catherine.
it's Michael.
Okay. Well then, yeah. So if you're all right with that, then yeah, that's what I want to do. And I think it'd be good if you guys thought of things that you'd want to invest in. We can make that part of what we use the money for. And so if you help raise the money, you help spend it. Yeah.
If we have ideas for ways to fundraise money, could we run it by you? Because I was thinking of having a whole ambassador and staff too, like bonding social events, like a monthly where everyone can, everyone be at the same, like as many people as possible being at the same place, just chilling, hanging out, where it's not here, where it's too like congested.
And that would raise money in which way?
Oh no, I'm not saying that's the fundraiser. That's what maybe
I
for.
was like, I like the idea of having socials and stuff. Yeah. Totally down for that.
Icebreakers.
I know you gotta understand something about me, which is I hate planning events. I don't shit, I hate a bad word. I will procrastinate planning events in favor of any other task. Vacuuming the floor, polishing tombstones, whatever. Watching grass dry, right? Then I'll plan the event. So if you want to plan a event, guys, I think you should do it. I think you should do it. Luke Jesus in, say, hey, I was thinking we could do this thing. Luke Jesus in and May, and since May does a lot of marketing stuff, May and Mo, and they say, I was thinking about this. What do you guys think? Yeah, do stuff. All right. Final thoughts. Check out Word.
42.
42.
42.
The meaning of
Dr. Lamb, I do have a question for you when we're done.
we're done.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.